a lot of what was I learned today, and there's a lot of concern, in particular from the Bajan public, because the prime minister on the eve, only on this 30th of September, she actually addressed the nation on this. There's a lot of concern, for example, as to whether Dominicans will now flood Barbados.
Wow.
And there was concern. One of the callers whilst I was on says, well, a lot of our university students that graduate UE cannot get jobs. And there is a concern now that people from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Belize and Dominica could come into Barbados and now be competing for the very little jobs that we have.
Right.
And then there was a discussion about, well, I said, well, they probably will not be coming to Dominica because our minimum wage is $7.50.
Yeah, that's one of that. Well, that would be one of the impeding reasons. Yeah.
And they were like, wow, the guy from St. Vincent said, well, this is extremely low, $7.50. So he said, well, maybe we will not get a lot of people coming to Dominica for jobs. And they were asking about our health system, our education system. I said, well, we have a fairly good education system in Dominica, and people, so we might want to enroll the students there. But the Bajans in particular are concerned, and one of the main concerns is that in addition to this free movement, at the same time, the government has proposed legislation that will make it a lot easier for CARICOM nationals in particular and Commonwealth nationals to get citizenship in Barbados. Now, the way it is in Barbados currently is that you must, unlike Dominica, you must be a citizen to vote.
Right.
Dominica allows Commonwealth citizens. So they want to have, and Commonwealth citizens have to be there for 3 years.
3 years, right.
Now they're changing that. You have to be there for 9 months within a 2-year period. As a Commonwealth citizen, you can get a Barbadian passport. And if you're a citizen of CARICOM, if you are in Barbados 6 months within a 2-year period, you can qualify for a Barbadian passport. So there's a lot of concern about that. People, the main theme out of Barbados is that this has nothing to do with free movement, but everything to do with the Prime Minister Mia Mottley trying to get people to come into Barbados to help show up a win for her. And my concern for Dominica was whether we can expect any kind of changes in our legislation to make it easier for those who may be coming into Dominica to get access to vote and so on. So that is a major, major concern that we have, and it's something that I would like the government of Dominica to address.
Yes, but and also while you're speaking of this, it is important, and it seemed and appeared to be a very pertinent issue. And what I believe, though, is that we have not heard of consultations, nor have we heard of referendums with respect to that, and to give the populace or the citizenry a chance to have consensus on this, because I think there should be dialogue between government, and the people of Dominica or the nation themselves, and not just be about Dominica, it's just about in the region, because regions have concern. It can well be too, the Vincentians have concern, the Belizeans have concerns. And so I don't think it is fair on the citizens that our government can just impose such a situation on them, not have them understood everything that's supposed to, and the ramifications, the implications, what is there for them, what can and cannot be done. And so, Doc, I believe the situation, while it's true that we are calling our government to speak on it, and they should speak on it, but too, we are advising that in any case, it should not be just about, I'm going to do this, use the big yardstick. I think it should be influenced by people's input with respect to, yes, we agree.
Yes, exactly. And also, I mean, the Dominicans agree to this. How, do we know how we will be impacted?
That's correct.
And my other concern that I had was why it is just these 4 countries out of the entire CARICOM group of CARICOM countries. It's clear that some CARICOM countries have reservations about it. That's why they have not joined on.
Yeah.
And those 4 countries, and it's interesting, at least the 4 countries in CARICOM that have had issues in terms of pressure, because regardless of what we see going on with Mia Mottley, there's a lot of pressure on her now within Barbados. And we know St. Vincent and the Grenadines, they're hanging on by a thread. They won by one seat.
Yeah.
Dominica has its own issues with a government in office for 25 years. Belize just had an election that many people thought was rigged. So one wonders whether that is just birds of a feather literally flocking together and working to enhance or to maintain the term in office, because you must be suspicious of this. While I said it's a good idea, and that was originally envisaged in the Treaty of Sugar with the signing of the CARICOM, but some countries have reservations.
Yes.
And you wonder whether our countries are sufficiently prepared. Are we prepared, for example, for an influx of persons from Belize and St. Vincent and Grenadines and Barbados into Dominica?
Yes.
Is Barbados ready for an influx of Dominicans into the country? And especially if our passport, if we have issues with the CBI, if that continues and our passport gets devalued, then it means having a Bajan passport becomes extremely desirable, because that's one of the best passports in the world. You can walk into many, many countries. You have very little problem to get a visa and so on. So those issues, I don't think that enough attention was paid to all of those issues.
Yes.
And that is a bit concerning to me. So while I like the idea of this integration thing and the freedom of movement and so on,
yes,
but this rush by 4 countries out of CARICOM, this almost blackout on information to the public. I'm sure there are people hearing for the very first time tonight they're even knowing that it went into effect yesterday.
Wow.
It took effect yesterday, October 1st.
Wow. Interesting. And as the situation unfolds, we will actually, apprise the population as to what has been transpiring or what has transpired through all this. And it just, I hope the whole idea of deceptive governance is not actually widespread in the Caribbean, because if this is the case and it just sprung out of, out of control there,